When we think of the most impressive creatures in Earth's history, our minds often drift to the Jurassic period, envisioning massive dinosaurs and colossal marine reptiles. But what many forget is that long after the dinosaurs went extinct, nature delivered another masterpiece. This time, not with scales or claws, but with mammals. Imagine a past where landscapes were dominated by furry giants that could overshadow any modern elephant, by natural architects who reshaped entire rivers, and by beasts whose size and form defied everything we might expect from a mammal. Some ruled the oceans as sovereigns of the deep, while others roamed the land as true marvels of evolution. And the most remarkable part? Despite their intimidating appearances, many of these creatures were peaceful herbivores, living harmoniously with the ecosystems around them. In this video, we'll embark on a journey through different eras, exploring some of the most fascinating chapters in the history of mammals. How did these creatures grow to such incredible sizes? What made them so special in their time? Get ready to meet a gallery of extraordinary mammals that transform the world with their very presence. A group of creatures that, though no longer walking among us, continue to amaze us with their stories. Because mammals didn't just inherit the earth after the dinosaurs, they reshaped it with their ingenuity, strength, and astonishing diversity. Over 10,000 years ago, in the cold and arid landscapes of the Ice Age, a colossal creature roamed the tundras and steppes. Covered in dense fur, boasting an impressive size, and wielding a horn that seemed to defy nature's limits, the woolly rhinoceros, scientifically known as Coelurochelodonta antiquitatis, was one of the most iconic inhabitants of the Pleistocene epoch. This herbivorous mammal was not only a survivor of extreme conditions, but also a testament to life's resilience during one of Earth's most hostile periods. The woolly rhinoceros wasn't merely a furry version of today's rhinos, it was an evolutionary masterpiece. Measuring up to 4 meters, 13 feet in length, and weighing over 2 tons, its body was enveloped in thick, woolly fur to withstand freezing temperatures. Beneath this coat lay a substantial layer of subcutaneous fat, providing insulation much like its contemporary, the woolly mammoth, and other Ice Age giants. One of its most striking features was its large front horn, which could reach up to 1 meter, 3 feet in length. This horn was more than just an impressive display, it had a practical purpose. The woolly rhino used it to clear snow in search of buried grasses and herbs during harsh winters. Its robust skull and powerful front limbs made it an exceptional digger, crucial for survival in an environment where every bite of food was hard-earned. Despite its formidable appearance, the woolly rhinoceros was a peaceful herbivore. Its diet primarily consisted of grasses, low shrubs, and lichens found in the cold, dry steppes. Its wide snout allowed it to graze efficiently, and its teeth were perfectly adapted to grind tough plant materials. This diet did more than sustain the rhino, it played a vital role in its ecosystem. By grazing, the woolly rhino helped maintain low vegetation, promoting plant diversity and preventing overgrowth. In this sense, it was a keystone species, shaping its habitat much like modern elephants do today. The woolly rhinoceros mainly inhabited Eurasia, ranging from Western Europe to Siberia. Its home was the Mammoth steppe, vast expanses of cold, dry grasslands with sparse vegetation. While this environment was inhospitable to many species, the woolly rhinoceros thrived thanks to its remarkable adaptations. It coexisted with other Ice Age megafauna, including mammoths, giant bison, and reindeer, as well as prehistoric humans. These encounters weren't always peaceful. Humans likely hunted woolly rhinos. Evidence of this interaction is preserved in cave paintings, such as those found in Chauvet Cave in France, which depict woolly rhinoceroses and reveal the deep impression these creatures left on early human imagination. Like many other species, the woolly rhinoceros faced extinction around 10,000 years ago. The exact causes remain debated, but a combination of factors likely contributed. On one hand, drastic climate changes at the end of the last ice age reduced its habitat and food sources. On the other hand, the expansion of prehistoric humans across Eurasia may have intensified hunting pressure. Recent genetic studies suggest that woolly rhinoceros populations were already declining long before their final extinction, pointing to climate change as a primary factor. However, some fossils found in Siberia date to more recent periods, hinting at the intriguing possibility that small groups may have survived longer than previously thought, perhaps in isolated refuges. The woolly rhinoceros leaves behind a fascinating legacy. Fossils, including frozen remains discovered in Siberia, have allowed scientists to reconstruct intricate details about its life, biology, and environment. Some of these specimens are so well preserved that they have sparked discussions about potentially using their DNA to resurrect the species through biotechnology, a concept that excites and divides the scientific community. Now let's turn our attention to another colossus that thrived in the vast, frozen landscapes of the Ice Age. Amid cutting winds and relentless snowfall, one of Earth's most iconic and majestic creatures emerged, the woolly mammoth, Mammothus primigenius. This giant, with its curved tusks and dense fur, stands as a symbol of Pleistocene megafauna and a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between species and their environments. From fossils to cave art, the woolly mammoth continues to captivate scientists and enthusiasts alike. How did they live? What allowed them to thrive in such extreme conditions? The woolly mammoth was a master of survival in the harsh mammoth steppes that spanned much of Europe, Asia, and North America during the Pleistocene. Standing up to 4 meters, 13 feet tall, at the shoulders, and weighing between 5 and 6 tons, it was comparable in size to the modern African elephant, though more robust. Its most defining feature was its fur, consisting of 2 layers, an outer coat of long, coarse hairs that shielded it from the cold, and an inner layer of shorter, dense fur that retained body heat. Additionally, a thick subcutaneous fat layer up to 10 centimeters, 4 inches, thick, provided extra insulation. The woolly mammoth's ears were small and rounded, a clever adaptation to minimize heat loss, and its short tail reduced the risk of frostbite. Even its sebaceous glands were specialized, secreting oils that waterproofed its fur, enabling it to endure heavy snowfall and extreme temperatures. The mammoth's tusks were remarkable, multi-purpose tools. These tusks could grow up to 4 meters, 13 feet long, and weigh over 100 kilograms, 220 pounds each. While they were initially thought to serve only as weapons or symbols of dominance, research has revealed their versatility. Mammoths used their tusks to clear snow in search of grasses and lichens during winter, defend themselves against predators like saber-toothed cats and dire wolves, and possibly manipulate branches or other objects in their surroundings. Tusks also played a crucial role in social interactions, with males using them in duels during mating seasons. Despite its colossal size, the woolly mammoth was a peaceful herbivore. Its diet consisted mainly of grasses, shrubs, and lichens, which were abundant in the frozen steppes. To meet its energy needs, an adult mammoth could consume up to 200 kilograms, 440 pounds, of food and drink over 100 liters, 26 gallons of water daily. The woolly mammoth roamed one of the largest geographic ranges known for any terrestrial mammal. From the British Isles to North America, these giants reigned over the Mammoth Steppes, a unique ecosystem of tundra and grasslands adapted to cold temperatures and sparse tree cover. This habitat was ideal for mammoths, providing abundant food and open spaces for their large herds. It's believed that herds were matriarchal, led by older females, while adult males often lived more solitary lives, similar to modern elephants. The woolly mammoth shared its time on Earth with early humans, who not only hunted these giants, but also revered them in their art and culture. Cave paintings, such as those in Rouffignac Cave in France, and intricately carved ivory figurines illustrate the mammoth's special place in human imagination. Fossil evidence reveals that humans utilized nearly every part of the mammoth: meat for sustenance, bones and tusks for tools and shelters, and hides for clothing and insulation. This close relationship, while fascinating, may have also contributed to their decline. The woolly mammoth began disappearing around 10,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. A combination of climate change, which transformed their habitats into forests less suitable for their survival, and increased hunting pressure from humans likely drove their extinction. In recent years, science has begun exploring the possibility of de-extincting the woolly mammoth through genetic editing. By extracting DNA from frozen specimens and combining it with that of Asian elephants, scientists hope to create a hybrid that could be reintroduced to the tundra. This controversial idea aims not only to revive the mammoth, but also to restore degraded ecosystems affected by climate change. Though the woolly mammoth no longer roams the earth, its legacy endures in our understanding of the past and our collective imagination. As a symbol of the Ice Age, it reminds us of mammals' incredible ability to adapt to extreme challenges and of the profound impact human actions can have on the fate of species. During the same era over 10,000 years ago, as the Ice Age continued to shape Earth's landscapes, the sprawling plains and forests of South America were home to a colossal, slow-moving titan, the Megatherium, Megatherium americanum. This giant ground sloth, rivaling the size of modern elephants, was one of the most imposing mammals of its time and a master at exploiting its environment's resources. While today's sloths are small, tree-dwelling creatures, Megatherium offers a glimpse into a very different past, a massive, powerful animal perfectly adapted to life on solid ground. The Megatherium was a terrestrial giant sloth that measured up to 6 meters, 20 feet in length from head to tail, and weighed between 3 and 4 tons. This immense size made it one of the largest land mammals of its era, surpassed only by creatures like elephants and some giant rhinoceroses. With a robust body supported by powerful limbs and massive claws exceeding 30 centimeters, 12 inches, in length, Megatherium was a striking sight. However, despite its fearsome appearance, it was not a predator. Its primary diet consisted of plants, and its formidable claws served as tools for reaching high branches, stripping leaves, and manipulating its environment. Megatherium was a dedicated herbivore, likely consuming a diverse array of plants. It inhabited the plains and forests of South America, but didn't restrict itself to grazing at ground level. Instead, it would rise onto its hind legs, using its powerful tail as a third support to reach higher vegetation. This temporary bipedal stance allowed Megatherium access to branches and foliage beyond the reach of other herbivores, a feeding strategy reminiscent of modern giraffes, which specialize in browsing treetops. Its teeth were simple yet effective, designed to grind leaves and tough plant fibers. Additionally, its slow metabolism allowed it to extract maximum nutrients from its diet, a trait shared with its modern sloth relatives. Despite its colossal size, Megatherium wasn't entirely free from threats. Juveniles and smaller individuals were likely vulnerable to predators such as Smilodon, the iconic saber-toothed cat, and large scavenging birds. However, an adult Megatherium was a formidable opponent, thanks to its massive claws and immense strength. These claws were not only defensive weapons, but also practical tools for digging up roots, constructing shelters, or intimidating other animals. While generally peaceful, a Megatherium was not a creature that predators would challenge lightly. Megatherium coexisted with the first humans to inhabit South America, and this interaction may have contributed to its extinction. Fossil evidence indicates that humans hunted these giants, likely valuing them as a vital source of meat, hides, and bones. Some studies suggest that humans also utilized natural shelters created by Megatherium, such as burrows, for protection against the elements or other animals. Moreover, the creature's large size and relative slowness made it an appealing and accessible target for early hunters. Megatherium vanished around 10,000 years ago, coinciding with the end of the Pleistocene. While climate change and habitat transformation likely played a role, human hunting pressure was almost certainly a significant factor in its extinction. Today, Megatherium remains a subject of fascination for scientists and paleontology enthusiasts. Fossils found across much of South America offer a window into the past, revealing how evolution gave rise to such extraordinary creatures. Studies of Megatherium also provide valuable insights into the relationship between early humans and megafauna, as well as the long-term impacts of human activity on ancient ecosystems. Megatherium's legacy endures as a reminder of the remarkable diversity of life that once roamed the Earth, and the delicate balance required to sustain it. Over 20 million years ago, in the expansive plains of Central Asia, a colossal creature roamed the Earth, unmatched in size by any other mammal of its time. Standing over 7 meters tall and weighing up to 20 tons, Paraceratherium is considered the largest land mammal to ever exist. This herbivorous giant, whose name means near rhinoceros, is an iconic representative of the megafauna of the Oligocene, showcasing the majesty and diversity of mammalian evolution. Although related to modern rhinoceroses, Paraceratherium bore no horns. Instead, its massive body rested on 4 incredibly strong and elongated legs, giving it the appearance of an enormous giraffe with a more robust build. Its skull, measuring over 1.5 meters long, supported a long, flexible snout which it used to reach high branches and foliage, much like modern elephants use their trunks. Its teeth were perfectly adapted for grinding vast amounts of vegetation, including tough leaves, shrubs, and other plants that thrived in its environment. This creature wasn't just large, it was absolutely colossal. A typical adult Paraceratherium rivaled some medium-sized sauropod dinosaurs in mass. To put it in perspective, a single adult could weigh as much as 4 African elephants combined and tower over 2-story buildings. Its sheer size offered protection from most predators, as few animals of the time would dare challenge such an imposing giant. As with any natural giant, Paraceratherium had a prodigious appetite. Its diet primarily consisted of leaves, branches, fruits, and tree bark, resources beyond the reach of other herbivores. It's estimated that the creature consumed hundreds of kilograms of vegetation daily to meet its massive energy needs. Its large molars were designed to crush fibrous plant material efficiently. Though its neck was not as flexible as that of a giraffe, it was sufficiently long to grant access to treetop foliage, allowing it to exploit food sources unavailable to other animals. Paraceratherium thrived in the regions of Central Asia, encompassing areas now part of Kazakhstan, Pakistan, China, and Mongolia. During the Oligocene epoch, these regions consisted of sprawling subtropical plains, open woodlands, and savannas, providing the perfect habitat for such a massive herbivore. Capable of traversing great distances in search of food, Paraceratherium likely had a vast range. This mobility would have been essential for coping with seasonal changes in vegetation availability and the challenges posed by a dynamic climate. Unlike modern elephants, which live in tight-knit herds, Paraceratherium is believed to have been more solitary or lived in small groups. This hypothesis stems from its immense size and the vast amount of food it would have required daily. Young individuals or mothers with calves may have formed close-knit groups, while adults likely roamed alone to reduce competition for resources. Despite its massive size, Paraceratherium faced challenges, particularly during its early years. Juveniles were smaller and more vulnerable to predators such as large carnivorous mammals or packs of hyenodon, an extinct genus of fearsome predators. However, a fully grown adult would have had few natural threats, relying on its immense size and strength to deter attackers. Paraceratherium vanished around 23 million years ago at the close of the Oligocene epoch. While the precise causes of its extinction remain debated, a combination of environmental and ecological factors likely played a role. Global climate changes transformed Central Asia's landscapes into drier and less forested regions, reducing the availability of suitable food for such a large herbivore. Additionally, competition from emerging large herbivores may have further strained its ability to thrive. Today, Paraceratherium continues to captivate paleontologists and enthusiasts alike. Though its fossil record is incomplete, the bones discovered have allowed researchers to piece together a detailed understanding of this giant's biology, behavior, and ecological role. Each new fossil discovery adds another fragment to the story of this incredible creature, reminding us of the remarkable diversity of life that once roamed our planet. Paraceratherium serves as a testament to nature's ability to produce awe-inspiring giants and as a sobering reminder that even the mightiest creatures are subject to the whims of environmental change. Though it no longer walks the earth, this giant reigns supreme in our imaginations as one of the most extraordinary mammals to have ever lived. We return to the Ice Age, but this time with an incredible creature, a species of beaver the size of a bear. Around 10,000 years ago, in the rivers, lakes, and swamps of North America, there lived an extraordinary animal, the Castoroides, or giant beaver. Measuring up to 2.5 meters long and weighing over 100 kilograms, this incredible rodent was a true titan among its kind, playing a key role in prehistoric aquatic ecosystems. The Castoroides was not just a larger version of modern beavers, but a species with unique adaptations that made it a true environmental engineer, although very different from its small descendants. The Castoroides, also known as the giant beaver, was a large rodent belonging to the Castoroides family. Although related to modern beavers, its characteristics clearly set it apart. The Castoroides had a massive skull housing large incisors that could measure up to 15 centimeters in length. These teeth, rounder than those of modern beavers, were designed to cut wood and manipulate vegetation, but were not necessarily used to build dams. In fact, it's believed that the Castoroides didn't have the same ability as modern beavers to construct complex structures like dams and burrows. The habitat of the Castoroides was closely linked to water. It lived in the lakes, rivers, and swamps of North America, in regions that today stretch from Canada to the southern United States. During the Pleistocene, these areas were dotted with bodies of water rich in vegetation, an ideal environment for a herbivore like the Castoroides. With its massive size and aquatic adaptations, such as strong hind legs and webbed feet, the Castoroides was a competent swimmer. It moved easily between water and land, utilizing both environments to find food and shelter. The Castoroides was a specialized herbivore that likely fed on a variety of aquatic and terrestrial plants. Its large incisors allowed it to cut branches and small trunks, suggesting it could fell medium-sized trees to access its food. However, unlike modern beavers, there is no evidence that the Castoroides built dams. Instead, it likely used natural areas of stagnant water and dense vegetation for shelter. Its dental and jaw adaptations were more geared towards processing tough vegetation than creating the engineering marvels that characterize its descendants. The Castoroides was one of the largest rodents to ever exist. With an estimated weight of between 100 and 125 kilograms, this giant would have been difficult for most predators of its time to attack. However, during the Pleistocene, North America was home to formidable carnivores, such as saber-toothed cats and the short-faced bear, species that are also featured in a video on our channel, which we encourage you to check out. The young or weaker individuals of the Castoroides were likely preyed upon by these predators. To defend itself, the Castoroides relied on its powerful incisors and large size, giving it a significant advantage against smaller attackers. Additionally, its ability to take refuge in the water would have provided an effective escape in times of danger. The first humans to arrive in North America during the Pleistocene coexisted with the Castoroides. Although there is no direct evidence that these humans hunted the giant beaver, it is likely they did, as it would have represented a significant source of meat and fur. Like other large animals of the era, the Castoroides may have fallen victim to overhunting, along with the climatic changes that transformed aquatic ecosystems at the end of the Ice Age. The Castoroides became extinct approximately 10,000 years ago, coinciding with the end of the Pleistocene and the beginning of the Holocene. Additionally, the arrival of humans in North America likely intensified pressures on the Castoroides, either directly or indirectly. The combination of habitat loss, competition with other species, and human hunting likely sealed the fate of this extraordinary rodent. Today, the fossil remains of the Castoroides, including massive skulls and jaws, can be found in museums around the world. These fossils offer a glimpse into the past and help us understand how major environmental changes and human interaction shaped ancient ecosystems. The Castoroides is a reminder that even the most impressive and well-adapted animals can be vulnerable to rapid changes in their environment. Although its modern descendants are much smaller, the image of the giant beaver continues to inspire awe and curiosity among those who study natural history. Now we go even further back in time. Imagine a gigantic marine reptile gliding through the warm waters of the Eocene around 40 million years ago. Its long, serpentine body, reaching up to 18 meters in length, allowed it to move swiftly through the primitive oceans. This animal was not a dinosaur, but an ancestor of modern whales, and its name, Basilosaurus, means royal lizard or king of lizards, although it was not a reptile at all. In fact, it was one of the first great cetaceans, a crucial link in the evolution of the whales we know today. The Basilosaurus was not only one of the most fascinating marine predators of its time, but also one of the most unusual creatures, as it possessed a body reflecting a unique transition between ancient land mammals and the gigantic marine mammals we know today. Despite its name, the Basilosaurus was not a lizard, but a marine mammal, a primitive cetacean that lived in the oceans of the Eocene. This creature was part of the early cetacean groups that were fully adapting to aquatic life. Its body was extremely elongated and serpentine, with a spinal structure that allowed it to move flexibly through the water. Although its elongated face and sharp teeth gave it a reptilian appearance, the Basilosaurus was a mammal and, like other mammals, gave birth to live young, which set it apart from marine reptiles. The Basilosaurus had smooth skin and probably lacked the thick layer of fat that modern whales possess. Its size gave it a great advantage for moving through the ocean, although its anatomy indicated that it was not fully adapted to life in the sea like modern whales. The Basilosaurus was a true marine giant. Its approximately 18-meter length made it one of the largest mammals of its time, and its flexible body allowed it to glide efficiently through the water. Unlike modern whales, the Basilosaurus did not have highly developed caudal fins, but its tail was strong enough to aid in propulsion. The flanks of its body were equipped with flippers, though not as developed as those of modern cetaceans, suggesting that the Basilosaurus was a competent swimmer, but not as specialized as today's whales. Its body size allowed it to travel long distances in search of food, and it is likely that it hunted in groups, using its agility to ambush prey in the shallow waters near the coast. The Basilosaurus was a large carnivore, probably feeding mainly on fish, squid, and other medium-sized marine animals. Its sharp teeth and powerful jaw allowed it to easily capture prey, and its agility in the water gave it an advantage over other predators. Although it did not have the capability to hunt prey as large as the sharks of its time, the Basilosaurus may have specialized in hunting large fish or ambushing other marine creatures. It has also been speculated that it might have hunted in groups, using collaborative hunting techniques to catch prey, similar to what modern orcas do. During the Eocene, the Basilosaurus inhabited warm, shallow oceans, particularly in what is now the Gulf of Mexico, the Tethys Sea, and other tropical regions. At this time, the continents were configured differently, and inland seas were vast and rich in marine life. The Basilosaurus was at the top of the marine food chain of its time, with few competitors. The ocean was a vibrant ecosystem full of fish and other marine mammals, and the Basilosaurus made the most of this environment to hunt and move about. The Basilosaurus is key to understanding the evolution of modern cetaceans. It is believed that its ancestors were land mammals that gradually adapted to life in the water. Over millions of years, these mammals evolved into marine giants like the Basilosaurus, which possessed characteristics of both terrestrial and marine mammals. Although the Basilosaurus was well adapted to aquatic life, it still retained some primitive features, such as its hind limbs, which were vestigial and non-functional for aquatic locomotion. These limbs, which eventually disappeared in modern cetaceans, are a clear example of how evolution can modify even the most basic characteristics of an organism. The Basilosaurus went extinct around 34 million years ago at the end of the Eocene as marine ecosystems began to change. The disappearance of the Basilosaurus is associated with several factors, including climate changes and competition with emerging marine predators such as the first modern sharks and other cetaceans. Today, the Basilosaurus remains one of the most iconic creatures in the evolution of cetaceans. Its fossils, found in numerous excavations around the world, continue to be a key piece in understanding the transition of land mammals to marine ones. Through these fossils, we can see how a group of ancient mammals, once walking on land, became the marine giants that would dominate the oceans millions of years later. The Basilosaurus, with its reptilian appearance and unique evolutionary history, remains one of the most fascinating examples of life's adaptability. To finish, let's go back in time. About 45 million years ago, in the vast and warm plains that covered what is now Mongolia, an impressive and mysterious animal hunted for prey. This carnivore, known as Andrewosaurus, has fascinated paleontologists since its fossil remains were discovered in the 1920s. With an appearance resembling a giant wolf, but with unique features, the Andrewosaurus represents an early stage in the evolution of carnivorous mammals. Although it was not a wolf, its appearance and predatory habits make it one of the most enigmatic animals of the Eocene. The Andrewosaurus is mainly known for the discovery of a single partial skull in the Gobi Desert, Mongolia, during the famous paleontologist Roy Andrews' expeditions in 1923. This animal lived during the Eocene and belongs to the order Artiodactyla, meaning it is related to hoofed animals like deer and camels, although its morphology was much closer to that of a carnivore. In terms of its exact classification, the Andrewosaurus is a member of an extinct family called Andrewsarchidae, a lineage that is close to the ancestors of modern carnivores, although not directly related to felines or canids. With its elongated skull and sharp teeth, the Andrewosaurus had an appearance similar to modern wolves, although much larger and more robust. Its body was tall and muscular, suggesting that it likely moved quickly to hunt or chase prey across the open plains. The Andrewosaurus was a large, heavy mammal with an estimated body length of about 3 meters, making it one of the largest carnivores of its time. While its skull was smaller than that of other large carnivorous mammals like saber-toothed tigers, the Andrewosaurus had a powerful jaw and teeth adapted for tearing meat. The most distinctive feature of its morphology was its elongated face, similar to that of a wolf but more robust. Its eyes were probably large, suggesting it could have been a diurnal hunter. Additionally, its body seemed to be adapted for speed and agility, with long, muscular legs that allowed it to move deftly through its open habitat. Although the tail and hind legs of the Andrewosaurus have not been found, it is presumed that its body was like that of other carnivorous mammals of the time, with a structure adapted for quick and efficient movement, which would have made it an agile and efficient hunter. The Andrewosaurus was likely a carnivore that hunted medium to large-sized prey. Despite not having the powerful fangs of other large predators like felines, its sharp teeth and strong jaw would have allowed it to tear the flesh of herbivores of the time. It is believed that this animal was a solitary hunter, or possibly an opportunistic hunter, taking advantage of any chance to catch wounded or weakened prey. Despite its wolf-like appearance, it is uncertain whether the Andrewosaurus hunted in packs or operated more solitarily, although the pack hunting theory remains a possibility given the behavior of modern carnivores. Due to its size and strength, it was probably also a scavenger, taking advantage of carcasses left by other predators, making it a highly adaptable animal within its ecosystem. The Andrewosaurus inhabited the open plains of what is now Mongolia during the Eocene, about 45 to 37 million years ago. During this period, Earth experienced a warm and humid climate, and much of Asia was covered by forests and grasslands. This environment would have provided a great diversity of herbivorous animals, including hoofed mammals, which formed the base of the diet of many carnivores like the Andrewosaurus. The landscape of its time was full of large herbivores that could have been its favorite prey. Like other large carnivores, the Andrewosaurus had to be well adapted to move quickly in these open landscapes, using its agility to hunt its prey or avoid larger competitors. Although the exact relationship between the Andrewosaurus and modern carnivores is not known for sure, it is clear that this animal occupied a similar niche to today's large carnivores, such as wolves or big cats. However, the Andrewosaurus was not directly related to these animals, but represented an early stage in the evolution of carnivorous mammals, a missing link between more primitive ancestors and the later evolved predators. Like modern wolves, the Andrewosaurus probably relied on its agility and speed to hunt. However, unlike modern wolves, it is possible that the Andrewosaurus had to compete with other large predators, which could have influenced its hunting behavior and way of life. The Andrewosaurus went extinct about 37 million years ago, possibly due to climatic changes and competition with other carnivores that were adapting better to their environment. However, its fossil legacy remains important for paleontologists, as it offers a unique insight into the early carnivorous mammals and how these animals began adapting to life at the top of the food chain. Today, the fossil remains of Andrewosaurus remain one of the most enigmatic pieces of paleontology, and its unique morphology continues to spark the interest of scientists who are seeking to better understand the evolution of carnivorous mammals. The mammals we've explored, from giants roaming the plains to colossal sea creatures, show us how life on Earth has evolved in surprising ways. Each of these animals, though now extinct, left its mark on the planet, revealing the incredible diversity that once existed and how adaptation and extinction are part of the natural cycle of life. Though most disappeared millions of years ago due to climate changes, ecological pressures, or competition, their legacy remains crucial in understanding how life adapts and changes over time. The lessons these giants teach us are clear. Life is a constant process of change, where species must evolve or disappear. The fossils they left behind are witnesses to a distant past, but they also serve as a warning and reflection on our own future. These animals, though no longer here, remain an important part of natural history, and their study reminds us that everything on Earth is interconnected and in constant transformation. Evolution never stops, and in many ways, the changes that species, both large and small, face are inevitable. In the end, these prehistoric creatures show us the fleeting nature of existence, but also the beauty and importance of adaptation, a lesson that remains relevant even today.